Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Divine Barrel Brewing Company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. This beer is called Basement of My Brain. It is a India Pale Ale brewed with Mosaic, Cashmere, and Denali hops, and it is 6.5 ABV. Now it says India Pale Ale. It doesn't say New England style, but I think most of the stuff that they make, I would consider it unfiltered more than New England style because generally it's not super hazy. It doesn't really have the water profile of a New England style IPA or the body, but we'll see. We'll see about this one. But they do sometimes do ones that are actually, traditional IPAs that are actually completely filtered too, so we'll see. And I will say I'm not a huge expert. I don't have a ton of experience with Cashmere and Denali. I mean, I've had beers that had them in them, but definitely don't think I've had any single hop beers that with either one of them. So I can't say that I necessarily know exactly what either one of those tastes like, but we'll see. And yeah, this is pretty similar to what I was saying. I mean, it's definitely unfiltered. It's or somewhat unfiltered at least. It's cloudy, but I mean, you can see my finger in the background, so it's definitely not. I wouldn't call it hazy. It's not. It doesn't look like orange juice or anything like that. It had a small white head, which dissipated pretty quickly. So I am picking up what I would generally assume is Mosaic. It's a little like sweaty, but it kind of that's really the only characteristic I'm getting out of it. The aroma is actually pretty mild. So before I had this, I did a review for this one revision beer. It was an IPA, and I said to me it kind of seemed like they wanted to see what was like the strongest IPA they could make that was basically hop water and was super easy to drink and didn't really taste like the alcohol that was in it. This kind of reminds me of like that they tried to do the same thing but didn't do it quite as well. It's a little piney, a little earthy. It does have a little bit like the sweaty Mosaic character. But the malt profile is almost non-existent other than the sweetness. There's really no like bready character. There's no like biscuity caramely character either. But I mean, you can tell just by looking at it. It looks like it's just a very light. I'm guessing there's probably a lot of there might be some dextrose in this or something. I don't know. It's very very light. It actually is fairly bitter, but the sweetness that's there is balancing it out. It's not bitter where I can't where it's like burning my tongue and I don't want to handle the bitterness, but it's definitely more bitter than that revision beer that I was speaking of. And I guess when you're making something this light, though, it is easy to kind of be heavy handed on the bitterness. Even I know that from personally homebrewing, if you're making the body like super super light, even if you're not even adding bittering hops at the beginning of the boil, if you're basically doing like everything at 0 minutes and after and dry hop, it can still get too bitter. If you're using like a crap ton of hops. It is orangey and citrusy too. I do like it, but I just wish it had a little more body. But the funny thing is, I guess Wooden Robot's coming out with some, and then like High Branch does like Pounder and those types of things. But I would love for more of the breweries in Charlotte who are canning and who make good IPAs to start doing some lower alcohol stuff, like stuff that's under 7%. So I guess I can't complain about this that much because they are doing that. It's funny. I was at Resident Culture last weekend, and they had a New England style pale ale, which, to my knowledge, or it was at least the first one I had tried from them. I had one or two lower alcohol hoppy beers from them, but they were all like West Coast style. This is the first time they did like a hazy one, and it was very good. And I even actually ended up seeing the brewer while I was drinking it, and I was like, "Hey, you guys should can this." Maybe not instead of the double I or triple IPAs, but in addition to just have like a nice lighter hoppy beer. And he was like, "Well, I think it's good too, but I just don't know if it will sell." So, I would assume would know more than me if that stuff sells or not. I honestly don't know because I buy all of their stuff, so it's kind of it's hard for me to judge if stuff would sell or not from a brewery, because if I like the brewery, I'm just gonna buy everything they make because I trust them that it's gonna be a decent beer. But I guess everyone just wants stuff that's super big and super boozy. But I do appreciate that they're making lower alcohol IPAs, and I still think this is pretty good. But I just would like a little more. Balance is the wrong word, because it's not like there's anything in this that's super abrasive or in your face. But I just wish there was more of just a balance in general. It's not like it's super bitter, but there's nothing else to balance out the hop flavor, which it's kind of unfortunate. So the other thing about this is, like, all these New England IPAs, they actually have a decent shelf life. This, because there's like no malt and it's just like hop water, I feel like if you even let this go, because this is only I think 3 weeks old, if you let this go to like a month and a half, I don't even know what would happen to it. But I just don't think it would be very good because there's like nothing behind it at all. But if pretty fresh, it is decent. And I guess that now, as I'm saying all this stuff, it's kind of making me think, if on my scale of buy, drink, dump, what do I think? So on my scale of buy, drink, dump, I'm going to give this one a buy. I would buy it again because I think this was only like 15 or $16, which, given the ABV, that's one thing, but I don't care about ABV, so it's a really nice light drinking beer, and it's not overpriced. So I would buy it again. There's nothing wrong with it. I just, kind of prefer that there was more body, but I think it's good enough that I would buy it again if I just wanted a really nice light drinking like hop water type IPA. And sometimes I do want that. Sometimes I don't want all the giant booze and hops and all that stuff. So I think that's all I got in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.